The good news is there's a new kind of game. It's still a game in the sense that we're all choosing to play it, but it's a very different kind of game. And there's a way for you to be able to notice when you're playing this new game. And when you found people who are themselves trying to play this new game and are building skillfulness in playing this new game, of course, these become the people that you can actually begin to play with and collectively and collaboratively begin to build more skillfulness in playing this new game. One of the aspects shows up as the difference between communication, journalism, social media in the old game, which is in the process of breaking down. It doesn't work, and it can't work. There's nothing about that way of being that can be resolved. We cannot try to retool that. We can't patch it. We can't temporarily put a spare tire on and get to the next stop. It's breaking down. It is done. And then in this new game, there's a way of communicating, a way of being in relationship that is completely able to resolve all the problems of the old game. It doesn't have the same kinds of problems. It doesn't involve things like how to deal with people who are using language to confuse. And we've actually filtered out that entire set of challenges. And once you've done that, you now have this, well, it actually looks like a graph or a mesh of people who are committed to a skillfulness of communication that has both the ability to benefit from all of their unique experiences and perceptions of what is going on in the world, and has the ability to form the basis of real relationships between and among them so they can actually make choices together. There's almost something there. Well, actually, it's an awful lot like what happened with the difference between personal computers and the internet. You can say that we're beginning to figure out how to extend this concept of the internet. What happens when you take things that, like computers, and you connect them so they can communicate. And then you make it so that they have protocols for communication so that they can all communicate with each other and share information in a way that has a certain fidelity to it. Well, this has to do what I'm talking about here, this process of building a certain skillfulness in communication, listening and expressing and informing relationships of collaboration is kind of like the internet for human communication. And it's the necessary corollary to the internet, the physical internet, that the physical substrate for communication, the medium of decentralized communication it's different than the medium of person-to-person embodied communication that we grew up in tribally. And it's different than broadcast communication that has been the primary mode of communication for the past millennium. And so it requires a different kind of skills. Completely different, just flat out different. You can't kludge the old approach, you have to build a new one. And you build the new one, like the way you build anything new, by starting at this loop, from discernment to embodiment. And you build those raw capacities to listen and to express, and then to enter into a space of collaboration. And then once you've done that, well, a whole lot of very powerful and important things follow.